Hello, everybody, my dear manners. Welcome. Today, a little bit of a different format. No gameplay, just me talking about DreamHack Atlanta, where I just played a StarCraft 2 tournament, the DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters in Atlanta, and I finished in the top 33, top 40 in the world. And I just wanted to share with you with a little bit of my experience in that tournament, how my games went, to tell you a couple of stories about whatever happened in this tournament. But before I start, I just wanted to shout out Alienware. They have provided me with a beautiful laptop that I'm currently recording it on. I can practice and I can record outside of my house. So shout out to Alienware. Thank you for providing me with a laptop to record this and practice before the tournament. So yeah, DreamHack Atlanta. I have just finished the tournament. I got knocked out to the lower brackets and I lost to Shadow 2-0, but that's the end of the story. Let's start from the very beginning. So I arrived on the 17th of November, that's yesterday as of the of recording, at around 6:30 p.m. local time. I went to sleep almost immediately at 8 p.m. I went to sleep at 8, I think at 8:30 p.m. I was already in bed like an old grandpa, but I was super jet lagged. For me, it was roughly like, I don't know, 4 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that, because I'm in America as of recording this, and I'm originally from Europe, from Poland, so that's a little bit of a time difference. I went immediately to sleep. I slept throughout the entire night, which is nice. I woke up at 6:30, something like that. I set my alarm clock at 7, and I woke up right before that. I went to meet Eleazar and Kelazor at breakfast. We ate breakfast together, and father from Calazur and his brother also arrived at the breakfast, so we meet each other for the first time. It was a nice time for breakfast, and then at around 9 a.m. we went to the venue, to the Georgia World Congress Center, or whatever it's called. There was like this huge queue to enter the venue. I don't know, it was like 100 people, 150 people or something like that. We just crossed the line, immediately went to the front, and the lady's like, yo, stop, you have to go to the line. But we met Special on the way there, and he already had this badge, like there's a player badge. We didn't have the badge yet. We were traveling together with Elazer and Calazar. And yeah, especially like, yeah, I know the way how to get to the badge. So we just cross the line, but the lady's like, stop, you can pass any further. So she got for like the, I don't know, the walkie-talkie, whatever it's called, the security thing. Like, hey, I have players here, they want to cross. And they're like, okay, you can cross, just one by one. So we cross, and then we walk for like 5 more minutes. Like, the Congress Center is actually freaking huge, massive. So yeah, we checked in, got our player badges, and we went to set up in the player area at around already 10 a.m. The tournament was supposed to start at 10 a.m., but it took a long time to check in, to get the player badges, and just set up on the computer. So yeah, we started the tournament at around 10:30, 10:50, something like so, like almost an hour delay, which is not a lot. So yeah, the tournament started, and my group was Group L in group stage number 1. I first had to play versus Disrespect, a tournament from United States. I didn't really know much about him, but he seemed like a nice guy, so I beat him 2-0 very nicely in a pretty cool macro games. The level of his play was actually surprising. I thought he's going to be trying to cheese me or something, but he played pretty like respectful macro games. And then I had to play the second match versus Ryang, and Ryang actually really surprised me with his level of play as well. He was going for a lot of macro builds, and he didn't really try anything cheesy as well. He really dragged the game to the late game, which I was not really expecting. I was not really good at it. The games were very close versus Ryang. I think I was in a good position a couple of times, but he was clearly the better player there. The Korean Terran really put a lot of effort into fixing his late game, while I was definitely the worst player in that series, so I lost 2-0. And then I had to play a rematch versus Disrespect in the deciders match, where I beat him 2-0 with some very cheesy and pretty good play by me. So I was happy that I was advancing forward to group stage number 2. In group stage number 2, because I took second place in group stage number 1, I had to play with 2 people from first place of group stage number 1 and 1 person with the second place of group stage number 1, so a total of 4 people. I ended up in a group with no Koreans, so I was really happy about that, but I ended up in a group with 2 Polish players and Dolan, a laser spirit from Poland and Dolan from United States. A pretty tough group for me, because I think recently both a laser and spirit has been kicking my ass, to be honest. So I was very nervous going into that group. Luckily, I played versus spirit first, and yeah, look, just take a look at the match history that I had versus Spirit. He's been kicking my ass for the longest time, and I beat him 2-0 in the very first match of the group. I think I got a little bit lucky. A lot of the build orders that we played against each other just went in my favor, and I did a little bit of mining games. Like I was pretending to go for a Blink opener, so he was responding with like a Widowmine opener, and I actually countered a Widowmine opener with a Stargate Phoenix play. So I got lucky and got ahead like that. And then I cheesed him in game number 2 on Cosmic Sapphire, where I made like a proxy Stargate into a gold base, and then I like the game got a little bit crazy, but I managed to squeeze it out with some like free base play. I lost my natural, I lost my gold base, but like we're base trading. It was a crazy game. If you can, if you can find it on indie stream, I think you can find it. Or actually, I'm not sure if he was casting that indie. That is. I think maybe my game versus the very first best of 3 versus Spirit might not be casted because I remember Indy joining the series and he was lagging out. So I think we played the rest of the series without him. So yeah, I beat Spirit 2-0, and then I had to face versus a laser, and I pretty much destroyed him in game number 1. I was very happy that the strategy that I have prepared for him worked out very well. So I was winning 1-0 after some kind of like adept play into macro and like some zealot archon stuff versus mutalisks. That was actually working absolutely perfectly. On game number 2, I tried to proxy 4-gate him with zealot all in, and the game got really, really close. I was hoping to surprise him with this kind of strategy. I beat Elaser a couple of weeks or months ago with this strategy, the proxy 4-gate, but this time he was more prepared, and even though the game got really close, he ended up winning, so it's 1-1. And then the last map, I tried to play for some kind of macro game. I was in a good position, and I think my strategy really worked out well, but eventually his macro was just too good, and even though it was a very close game in the end, he managed to win, so I lost to a laser 2-1. And then again, just like in group stage number 1, I had to face the same guy in the deciders match. I had to play versus Spirit, and I managed to win on the main stage 2-0 versus Spirit. So even though I got match versus Spirit and I thought it was a very difficult match for me to play, I managed to beat him 4 times in a row, which is quite a good achievement. I think my Protoss versus Terran is not that strong, and I think I was playing rather well in the series, and also got a little bit fortunate, I would say, which is nice. So yeah, I'm advancing to group stage number 3, and I'm happy about that. That was my main goal going into this event, to advance into group stage number 3. In group stage number 3, there were no easy groups to get into. I got matched with Scarlet, Astrea, and DRG, starting my match versus Astrea. I am a little bit upset about my matches versus Astrea because I think I could have won that series. I was in a good position in pretty much all 3 of the games, and he managed to come back into the series and win 2-1. I was actually surprised how well he played because he was one of the seeded players. So he didn't get any kind of warm-up before that. I was already playing in group stage number 1, group stage number 2, but it also meant that I was a little bit more tired. You know, the games really dragged out. It was already, I think, like 6 or 7 p.m. and remember I woke up at around 6. So I was already awake for 13 hours. So I definitely had a little bit of a disadvantage at that. But yeah, he played very good series, so I lost to him 2-1. My next match was versus DRG, the Korean Zerg player. And I actually tried to execute the same strategy that I used versus a laser, some kind of like pressure into adept, pressure into like a little bit of macro, but DRG really surprised me by going swarm hosts. And I was not expecting, and I was not prepared for swarm hosts whatsoever, and he beat me in game number 1. In game number 2, I was going for some kind of SC2 strategy. I was trying to rush the carriers, and it was going very well for me. I think my mind game worked really well. He didn't see the carriers until the very end. He tried to go for some like link bane pressure, and that got completely shut down. I was in a very good position in this game, and I hit a very good timing of 200 army with like +2. Like I had like 8 carriers, 10 archons, and something like that. I was going across the map, about to win the game, but I didn't take into account one thing, that he's going to go Ultralisks. He went like Ultralisk Corruptor to counter my army, and I had 0 Immortals in my army. If I had only like 1 or 2 Immortals in my army, I think I could have won that game, and we would go into game number 3. I'm not sure if I would win game number 3, because I didn't feel I was playing super sharp that time. But at least it would be game number 3. But yeah, that way I lost 2-0 to DRG, and I get knocked out to the lower bracket. So after getting knocked out to the lower bracket by DRG, I was waiting for I think around like an hour or hour and a half, something like that, and I got matched versus Shadow, the French Protoss player, and that was a bit unfortunate because I practiced with Shadow a little bit prior to DreamHack Atlanta, so we kind of knew each other's strategies, and I think I got a bit unlucky, and I think that's the series that I will remember or rather regret the most out of this tournament because I thought I have some kind of upper hand in game number one, especially since I scouted his proxy Stargate very early on, and I decided to counter that with Blink. But he followed it up with a robotic facility and Immortals, which really countered my strategy big time, and that's how I lost game number one by his pretty well versed strategy against my counter to his strategy. So yeah, Immortals versus Blink, it's never good. And then game number two, that's really sad situation because I opened up one gate expand and he opened up double gateway expand. And since we practiced versus each other, I knew he's going to try to counter my style. So I opened up Stargate and I was trying to prepare for an all-in, which I knew it was coming. I scouted the one side of the map. I didn't see the proxy, but even though I didn't see the proxy, I know it's coming. But the moment, like I was literally thinking about adepts trying to shade into my middle line, the very first two adepts, and the moment I looked out of the wall to block the wall of versus the adepts, that's when the adepts shaded in the early game. And if you're familiar with StarCraft, if two adepts shade in the early game of Protoss versus Protoss, the game is pretty much over. So I looked away from my screen for like a second, and I lost the series because of that. I was really upset that because of this very silly mistake, I got knocked out of DreamHack Atlanta. So yeah, that's my run in DreamHack Atlanta. I finished in top 33, top 40, something like that. I think I'm overall happy with the way I have played. I felt rather comfortable. I didn't feel I was held back by anything other than just my own skill, and I think that's the best thing about playing this tournament. You are always responsible for your own results and for your own preparation. And I think I did everything in my power to prepare properly. The opponents were simply better than me this tournament. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and let me know in the comments how you like that. And yeah, I will be back with more regular updates after I'm back from Atlanta. Take care, guys. Have a good rest of the day, and bye bye.